As we move through the seasons of life, there comes a time when we begin to slow down and reflect more deeply on our journey. The busyness and rush of our younger years gradually give way to a more contemplative approach. For many of us, this transition brings clarity about what truly matters: our well-being, our relationships, and our connection to the world around us. Slow living, at its core, is about making deliberate choices that align with our values. It's about savoring the simple moments, embracing contentment, and letting go of the unnecessary. As I've grown older, I've discovered that certain habits and ways of living that once seemed essential no longer serve me. In fact, stepping away from these habits has not only brought me peace but has also given me a renewed sense of purpose and joy. In this reflection, I'd like to share the 7 key shifts I've made, each of which has helped me live more intentionally and joyfully in my later years. Whether you're just beginning to explore slow living or have already embarked on this path, I hope these insights offer both inspiration and comfort. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Letting go of television and mass media. There was a time when television was central to my daily routine. Like many others, I would come home, sit down, and turn on the TV almost by instinct. News programs, talk shows, and the latest dramas provided a constant stream of entertainment and information. It felt normal, even necessary. However, as the years passed, I began to realize something unsettling. The more I watched, the more disconnected I felt from myself and my surroundings. Television, while entertaining, often filled my evenings with noise rather than nourishment. The rapid-fire nature of commercials, the sensationalized news stories, and even the fast-paced plots of TV shows contributed to a sense of mental clutter. After an evening spent in front of the screen, I often felt anxious, restless, and emotionally drained. Gradually, I began to reduce my TV consumption. At first, it was challenging. I felt as though I was missing out on something, whether it was the latest news or a popular show everyone seemed to be talking about. But slowly, I began to realize that what I was gaining far outweighed what I was giving up. Without the constant hum of television in the background, I found time for more enriching activities. I began to read more, cook more thoughtfully, and spend more time reflecting on my day. What's more, letting go of television dramatically improved my sleep. Rather than filling my mind with the noise of nightly programs, I began to create a more peaceful bedtime routine. I'd settle into a book, journal about the day, or simply sit in stillness before bed. These simple changes led to deeper, more restful sleep and a clearer mind when I woke up in the morning. For anyone considering cutting back on television, I encourage you to think of it not as giving something up but as opening yourself up to new possibilities. Without the constant stimulation of TV, you may find that you have more time for meaningful conversation, creative pursuits, and quiet moments that truly nourish the soul. Life is filled with beautiful details we often miss when our attention is consumed by a screen. 2. No longer shopping for new things all the time. As I reflect on the decades of my life, I realize just how much emphasis society places on the act of buying. We are constantly encouraged to acquire more, to update, to replace, and to purchase the next new thing. I, too, once found myself swept up in this cycle. Whether it was the thrill of a new outfit, the allure of a modern gadget, or the excitement of redecorating a room, shopping became a way of filling the spaces in my life. But over time, I began to ask myself, what purpose does all of this buying really serve? Does it bring lasting joy, or is it merely a temporary distraction? More importantly, is it truly necessary? In my later years, I've come to deeply value what I already have rather than constantly seeking out the newest and latest. I found immense satisfaction in caring for and maintaining the things I already own. The act of repairing, repurposing, and upcycling items that might otherwise be discarded has brought me a profound sense of fulfillment. Take, for example, a well-loved chair that has been with me for years. Once, I might have replaced it with something newer, something more stylish. But instead, I took the time to have it reupholstered, giving it a fresh look while preserving its history. Now, every time I sit in that chair, I'm reminded not only of the years it has been with me but also of the care and thought that went into keeping it. This approach has extended beyond furniture to include clothing, kitchenware, and other household items. Rather than tossing out a sweater because it's a little worn, I've learned to mend it. Rather than buying new cookware, I take the time to care for the pots and pans I've had for decades. In doing so, I've come to appreciate the craftsmanship and durability of these items in a way I never did before. Letting go of the need to constantly shop has also lightened my emotional load. I no longer feel the pressure to keep up with trends or to accumulate more than I need. My home feels less cluttered, and my mind feels more at peace. The focus has shifted from acquisition to appreciation, and I've found that true contentment lies there. For those who may feel uncertain about stepping off the consumer treadmill, I encourage you to start small. Try going a month without buying anything new unless absolutely necessary. During that time, take stock of what you already have and ask yourself if those items still serve you. You may be surprised by how much joy and peace can come from embracing what's already yours. 3. Freeing myself from brand names and status symbols. When I was younger, I cared deeply about the brands I wore, the car I drove, and the things I owned. These outward symbols of success seemed important, not just for how others perceived me but for how I saw myself. Wearing a certain label or driving a certain car gave me a sense of accomplishment, as if these items somehow validated my worth. But as I've grown older, I've come to realize that these things are fleeting. Brand names and status symbols may offer a temporary boost to our ego, but they don't bring lasting happiness or fulfillment. In fact, they can often distract us from what truly matters: our relationships, our health, and our inner peace. Letting go of the need for brand names has been one of the most freeing decisions of my life. I no longer care about what logo is on my clothes or what emblem is on my car. What matters now is comfort, functionality, and whether the things I own bring me joy or serve a meaningful purpose. This shift in perspective has also changed the way I view success. No longer do I measure it by material possessions or outward appearances. Instead, I see success in the quality of my relationships, the peace I feel in my heart, and the sense of purpose I bring to my daily life. I've learned to value experiences over possessions, and that shift has brought me more joy than any luxury item ever could. For example, I now find far more fulfillment in a long walk with a friend than I ever did in shopping for the latest fashion trend. I take pride in simple, thoughtful living, whether it's growing my own vegetables, cooking a homemade meal, or spending time with loved ones in nature. These are the moments that define my life now, and they are infinitely more rewarding than any brand name item ever was. For those who still feel the pressure to keep up with the latest trends, I encourage you to take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself, do these possessions truly bring you happiness, or are they simply a way of keeping up with the expectations of others? In letting go of that pressure, you may find that life becomes simpler, more joyful, and far less stressful. 4. Disconnecting from social media. The rise of social media has revolutionized how we connect with the world. It offers a platform to share our lives, stay in touch with loved ones, and explore new ideas. For many years, I embraced it as a way to remain connected with friends and family, particularly as life took us in different directions. Yet, as time passed, I began to notice how social media made me feel. Despite its promise of connection, I often felt more isolated after spending time online. The curated, picture-perfect lives of others, people traveling the world, enjoying grand events, or achieving seemingly effortless success, left me feeling like I wasn't doing enough or that my life was somehow lacking. Furthermore, the endless scrolling became a habit, one that stole time and attention from the present moment. I found myself mindlessly checking my phone at dinner, during conversations, or even while sitting in the garden. The constant barrage of information, notifications, and updates created a sense of mental clutter that was difficult to escape. Eventually, I made the decision to delete my social media accounts, and it was one of the most liberating choices I've made. Without the distraction of Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I found myself more present in my own life. I reconnected with the people around me, face to face, through phone calls, and even through handwritten letters. These real-life connections were far more meaningful and satisfying than anything I experienced online. What's more, stepping away from social media has given me back my time. Without the constant pull to check for updates, I found space for reflection, hobbies, and for simply being in the moment. My days feel fuller, not because I'm doing more, but because I'm paying attention to what truly matters. For anyone considering stepping away from social media, I encourage you to try it, even for a short period. See how it feels to disconnect from the digital world and reconnect with the physical one. You may find that life becomes richer, more peaceful, and far less stressful when you're no longer chasing after likes, shares, or updates. 5. Avoiding big cities and fast-paced environments. In my earlier years, the allure of city life was undeniable: the fast pace, the opportunities, and the constant buzz of activity. Cities seemed to hold endless possibilities. Yet, as I've grown older, I have found that the very things that once energized me now leave me feeling drained: the noise, the crowds, the relentless rush of modern life. It all feels overwhelming and distant from the peaceful, purposeful way I now wish to live. Cities are often designed to keep us moving, consuming, and staying busy. Every street is filled with distractions, whether it's the flashing lights of advertisements or the constant hum of traffic. While it can be exciting, over time it can also become exhausting. I started to notice that after a day in the city, I would come home feeling more anxious and less connected to myself. The constant sensory input made it difficult to unwind and truly relax. In contrast, spending time in quieter, slower-paced environments has brought me immense peace. Whether it's walking through a forest, sitting by a calm lake, or simply being in my garden, these moments in nature allow me to breathe deeply and be present. The stillness of nature helps me reconnect with the simple joys of life: the sound of birds, the rustle of leaves in the wind, or the sight of sunlight filtering through trees. These are the moments where I feel most alive, most centered. Of course, I understand that not everyone has the luxury of leaving the city behind, but even within urban environments, it's possible to carve out pockets of calm. Seek out parks, quiet streets, or peaceful corners where you can pause and slow down. Creating these moments of stillness, even in the midst of a bustling city, can make a profound difference in your well-being. For me, avoiding fast-paced environments has been a crucial part of embracing slow living. It's not about withdrawing from life, but choosing spaces and experiences that nourish rather than drain me. Whether in the heart of nature or a quiet city park, I've learned to seek out places that bring me peace and clarity, allowing me to live more fully and intentionally. 6. Not rushing through meals. As I've grown older, I've come to realize that food is more than just sustenance. It's an experience, an opportunity to connect with the people we care about and the world around us. Yet for much of my life, meals were something to be hurried through. Whether it was grabbing a quick bite before rushing out the door or eating in front of the television, I rarely took the time to truly savor my food. But as I've embraced a slower, more intentional way of living, I've discovered the joy of eating mindfully. I now take the time to prepare meals from scratch, using fresh, wholesome ingredients. I enjoy the process of cooking, the chopping, the stirring, the smells that fill the kitchen. And when it's time to eat, I sit down at the table, free from distractions, and savor each bite. This practice of mindful eating has not only made me appreciate food more, but it has also had a profound impact on my health. I find that I'm more in tune with my body's hunger and fullness cues, and I'm less likely to overeat. What's more, eating slowly has helped me avoid the digestive discomfort that often comes from eating too quickly. For me, meals have become a time of connection, both with the food I'm eating and with the people I'm sharing it with. Whether it's a simple breakfast with my spouse or a holiday feast with family, I take the time to be fully present, to enjoy the flavors, and to appreciate the effort that went into preparing the meal. For anyone looking to embrace slow living, I encourage you to start with your meals. Turn off the TV, put away your phone, and take the time to truly savor the experience of eating. You might find that this simple practice brings a new level of joy and mindfulness into your life. 7. Letting go of the need to be busy. In our society, Busyness is often equated with success. We fill our calendars with appointments, activities, and obligations, believing that the more we do, the more valuable or accomplished we are. But as I've grown older, I've come to see that constant busyness is not a sign of success. It's a sign that we may be neglecting the things that truly matter. These days, I make a conscious effort to leave space in my schedule. I no longer feel the need to say yes to every invitation or to fill every moment with activity. Instead, I embrace the beauty of doing nothing, whether it's spending a quiet afternoon reading, taking a leisurely walk, or simply sitting on the porch and enjoying the breeze. I've learned that rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. This shift has allowed me to be more present in my relationships, more thoughtful in my actions, and more content with the life I'm living. I've discovered that some of the most meaningful moments happen in the quiet spaces between activities, in the stillness, the reflection, and the simple act of just being. For anyone struggling with the pressure to always be busy, I encourage you to take a step back. Look at your schedule and ask yourself, are these activities truly bringing you joy? Are they contributing to your well-being? If not, consider letting go of the ones that aren't serving you. You may find that in doing less, you create space for more peace, more contentment, and more meaningful connections with the people you love. 8. Practicing gratitude and reflection. As part of my slow living journey, one of the most impactful habits I've adopted is practicing daily gratitude and reflection. In the hustle of life, it's easy to focus on what's missing or what's next. But as I've grown older, I've learned to pause and appreciate what's already present in my life. This practice has brought a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Each day, I take a few moments, whether in the morning or before bed, to reflect on what I'm grateful for. Small, simple things like a quiet moment with a loved one, the warmth of the sun on my face, or the sound of birds outside my window. These moments, often overlooked, are now central to my sense of well-being. By focusing on these blessings, I find that life feels fuller and richer, even in its simplest form. Gratitude has also strengthened my relationships. By expressing appreciation, whether through a kind word, a thank you note, or simply spending more quality time with others, I've deepened the connections I have with those around me. I've realized that relationships, like everything else, require mindful attention to truly flourish. Reflection helps me look back on life with greater peace. Instead of dwelling on regrets or missed opportunities, I focus on the lessons I've learned and the personal growth that came from challenges. This shift in perspective has allowed me to view my journey with more compassion and understanding, turning the past into a source of wisdom. If you're new to practicing gratitude, start small. Write down a few things you're thankful for each day or take a quiet moment to reflect on your blessings. Over time, this simple practice can transform how you view your life, bringing more joy and contentment to your everyday experiences. Embracing slow living in the later years. As we move into the later years of life, we are given a precious opportunity to reflect on what truly matters. Slow living is not about retreating from the world, but about choosing to engage with it in a more mindful and meaningful way. By letting go of habits and activities that no longer serve us, we create space for what truly brings joy and fulfillment. For those of us aged 55 to 80, the journey towards slow living can be transformative. It allows us to savor the present moment, deepen our connections with loved ones, and live with a sense of peace that is often hard to find in today's fast-paced world. I encourage you to consider the ways in which you can simplify your life, let go of what no longer serves you, and embrace the beauty of living slowly and purposefully. It's never too late to start. Thank you for watching the entire video. If you find these stories inspiring and motivating, please comment, thanks. If not, comment 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Thank you for your valuable time.